everyone, welcome to the presentation. Thank you very much for coming along to my watch seminar. Now my name is Ruth and I am Scottish and I'm your port and shopping guide on board. Now let's get right down to it. I've worked with over 150 watch brands in my career, everything from Movado all the way up to Patek Philippe. And the question that I'm asked every day, every seminar is, Ruth, why should I spend $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000 on a watch to tell me the time? I have my cell phone to tell me the time. And my answer is always very, very simple. We do not buy beautiful timepieces to simply tell us the time. We buy these gorgeous watches because they make us feel special. And they're a statement to the world that we enjoy the finer things in life. The difference between a $10 watch and a $10,000 watch is as vast as the difference between a Volkswagen and a Mercedes-Benz. It's about quality, longevity, and craftsmanship. There are some timepieces that are actually designed to last for 3, 4, 5, even 600 years. And in a world that we live in, where everything is mass-produced and disposable, the art of watchmaking has been preserved for over 150 years. And it is not because we need it, it's because we appreciate it. Now, I'm going to ask you all an honest question. Who here has more than 3 watches? It's okay, you can tell me. I won't tell your spouse. Welcome to Watches Anonymous. I have 4 and I'm working on my 5th one. Now, did you realize that you actually check and look at your watch over 200 times a day, right? So if you're going to be looking at something that much, you really should love it. Price is relative. Okay, whether it's a couple of hundred or several $1,000s. If you find a watch, you fall in love with it, and it says to you, this is me, then get it. You're going to be wearing it 12 hours a day, 365 days a year. And I can understand it is difficult when you're trying to find that perfect timepiece that fits you. Now, if you are finding that tricky, I would always refer going back to what's called the 4 M's of watch buying, which are materials, mission, millimeters, and movements. I'm just going to quickly run through these so you can understand. So, the first one is materials. What do you want your bracelet or your strap of your watch to be made of? Are you someone that likes a natural fiber, like a rubber or a leather? Would you prefer to go for something a little bit fancier, maybe a precious metal, a gold or a silver or a platinum? An alloy like stainless steel or ceramic? That choice is something that needs to be decided upon before you start shopping for your watch. Now, mission. The mission of the watch, where you live, where you work, finding a watch that suits your style and your lifestyle is important. For example, if you are an electrical engineer and you work on board a cruise ship, you are going to need something that can withstand electromagnetic force fields generated in the engine room. Or if you're a nurse and you're going to be taking people's pulse, you will need a watch that has a moving second hand, so you can do that. So again, that's an important question to ask yourself. 3rd M is millimeters. Are you going to go for something small, understated, something a little bit classier, maybe 30, 31 millimeters? Or are you going to go for a statement sports watch, something big, something flashy, something fancy, more like a 44.5 or 45 millimeter watch? Now that totally depends on your personality and what you want to show with your watch. Now lastly is movements. What kind of movement would you like your timepiece or your watch to have? Now there's a couple of choices. Are you someone that prefers a manual wound movement in your timepiece, so you turn the crown yourself to give the watch energy, or an automatic movement in your timepiece where you don't interrupt or touch it, or a crone movement in your timepiece? Again, making decisions on these 4 M's on what you want your watch to do for you is going to help to narrow down and find that perfect watch for you. Now, for the rest of the seminar, I'm going to talk to you guys about 2 of my favorite brands of watches. Now, a more, shall we say, traditional brand, and then I'm going to talk about a more contemporary or more modern brand. Now, the first watch brand I'm going to introduce you to today is one that I find really interesting because it's a company that's really steeped in American history. It's called the Bulova Company. Now, Bulova was actually founded by a 23-year-old immigrant to the USA, Joseph Bulova, in 1875. Now, he opened his first store in Lower Manhattan, New York City. Precision, quality, and craftsmanship are the principles that he built his company from the ground up. But it was his constant innovations that brought his company so much tremendous success for the following 143 years of the company's history. His industry innovations included everything from the first production of standardized watches, wristwatches for men and for women, and developing the world's first ever electric watch, which was called the Accutron. At the time, that was the most accurate watch in the world. He completely changed the world of advertising with the world's first ever radio and TV commercial, with the first ever TV commercial being at the end of a baseball game, naturally, and costing Bulova's company only $9. Wow, how things have changed. He changed the world of sport with the world's first photo timer, and in transportation through his collaborations with Lindbergh, the world famous pilot, and on 64 NASA missions too. They placed a Bulova timer on the Sea of Tranquility on the moon. Yeah, big deal. So in 2010, they released their Precisionist collection. Now this had a higher frequency crystal and an infinitely moving second hand, and that made the watches infinitely accurate. And more recently, in 2016, they released their Curve collection. Now this completely changed the face of chronograph movements forever with the world's first ever curved chronograph movement. Now today, one of my favourite collections of the Bulova Company is the Classics collection. It offers beautifully engineered lightweight case watches in solid stainless steel for ladies and men with a water resistance of up to 30 metres. Now my second brand for you is a younger brand, and it's a more modern brand. They started in only 1980, but Hublot has become one of the top 5 luxury sports brands of watches worldwide. Hublot is actually revolutionizing the modern world of watches with its concept of the art of fusion. This is the fusing together of meticulous techniques in technology of their movements in their watches and more contemporary and modern materials on the watches. Hublot is now the world's leading watch brand, specialising in rare and interesting materials such as celerium, Kevlar, rubber and king gold. These are materials never used before in the world of watches. They actually released the first timepiece with a rubber strap and are one of the only small boutique watch brands producing only 28,000 watches a year that create their own in-house movements, and they've called that the Unico movement. Now the Unico movement has a 10-day power reserve on a manual wound watch. This happens because the spring, the main spring in the movement, is about 2/3 longer than a normal movement in a normal timepiece. So now that gives it an incredible amount more energy in the spring. Now it takes 330 individually hand-assembled parts to put that distinguished movement together. Now I can't talk about Hublot without talking about the most successful collection they ever released in 2005 called the Big Bang. Now the Big Bang, it is what it says it is. It is loud, it is flashy, it's a sports watch, it's out there. It's a big statement watch at 45 millimeters. The face of the watch is really big in itself. Now it's said to represent a porthole of a cruise ship or a yacht with 6 individual screw bolts on the face, which makes it look like that porthole effect. Now the Big Bang collection really encapsulated that the Hublot's concept of fusion, because on the face they actually use rubber and king gold, so 2 unusual materials right on the face of the watch. Hublot is the official timekeeper of the FIFA World Cup, the LA Lakers and Miami Heat. and is an official partner with Ferrari, with both companies releasing their lines of watches and cars simultaneously to correspond with each other. If you're looking for that fancy Italian style in a meticulously crafted, beautiful timepiece, buy a Hublot. It is something that your grandparents, your grandchildren's children are still going to think looks cool in generations to come. Now, whether you are a watch connoisseur or you're new to the world of watches, I actually have a list of watch brands and their starting prices and a list of limited editions. Come and see me for your VIP cards and to schedule one-on-one consultations, and I can talk you through it. Are you going to be the lucky collector taking one home this cruise?